Hello and welcome back to another video, and today I'm doing a video about the continued off the field problems at Ebbsfleet United and how the players from this existing squad, none of them will be here at the end of May supposedly, and how the players have been paid late again this month, and apparently it's already up to 20 days, and some of the staff have been paid, some of the players have been paid, some haven't. It's a real sticky situation. So yeah, leave a like on the video. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the whole situation going on at the moment. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get straight into it. So last time I'd done a video about Ebbsfleet or the ownership stuff. It was in March time, and Ali Abdullah had just done a meeting with the Fleet Trust, and this was rather positive. He was saying that we're going to have still a competitive budget, players will leave. That hasn't, what he said in that hasn't really come true. And yeah, I'm going to review what's happened over the last month since it previous end of the season. So since that video, I really did think we were going to get playoffs. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. We got 1 point from our last 4, and you can really understand why that happened and why the players capitulated and didn't get the results they needed. They're real good players, but what's happened to them this season is no less than awful. 13 out of the last 15 months they've been paid late. And this is not just the players, this is also the staff, this is also the CEO, this is all the people that work for Ebbsfleet United as well. And obviously, yeah, so that happened. We didn't get the playoffs. There was the players at the end of the Bromley game, we lost 5-1. There was a lot of rotation. During the Bromley game, there was a weird thing on social media, Dave Winfield's wife saying that you didn't need to be there for the game. That kind of blown up out of proportion. And on that Thursday, it was the players' sponsors night. The players all went to the pub beforehand and spoke to fans and the local pub, the Edinburgh Castle. And there was, I think Cody McDonald's was the only one that was there early on. They then turned up like 10 minutes late or so. During this, the players were kind of just, well, they were kind of basically were a bit drunk. Fair enough. They've had a probably the last time they're going to be with that squad together until we won't mention something that happens later. So their players' awards they seem pretty jolly, to be fair to the lads. But the players are drunk, well, not drunk. They're just a bit tipsy. And then they have this weird meeting after that night of saying who's staying, who's going. So different rooms for who's contracted, who can stay, who's going. That was weird. Considering obviously the players are drunk, it's a bit weird to have that serious meeting with them. And again, the players have not been paid at this point. This was for April. This is about 5 days late at the players' meeting, so obviously rightfully not happy at that point. So this continues to go on, and then a few days later we get the I think on the Saturday we get the retained list. So basically all the players that weren't on contracts basically left. Apparently they weren't offered contracts. Don't think they would have stayed anyway. So that was Magri, Miles, Cody, Baggers, Winfield, Chris Bush. I think there were 7 that didn't get contracts because their contracts were running out anyway. And obviously all they announced was the retained list, and then there was a few players that 3, I think it was Payne, Kedwell, I can't remember the other one, who were going to be offered contracts, didn't have deals. At this point, at the time of recording this, we don't know if those deals have been offered. And then there was a tweet by Dean Rance, as you can see there. Again, as I speak about that meeting after the players night for the sponsors night, about the meeting of who's staying, Dean Rance was supposedly going to be offered a deal, and then he found out on the website that he wasn't going to be offered the deal, which then leaves he's very, very annoyed at that point, again as everyone else is. And then there's 7 contracted players who supposedly should be playing for next season. And at this point on the Saturday, this is about a week late. The wages have still not been given. This is going on for such a long time. The players contacted the National League about, is there sort of going to be some sort of punishment? Can they actually do anything? Can they actually get the money in? I guess at the time of recording, nothing has been done by the National League, the league, the board, about the players being paid late. Obviously, the players that I've mentioned won't be playing for us next season, which again, a lot of them are very solid players, but I think obviously the reason they are going, again with Bush and Magri are quality players that obviously would have loved to have stayed at the club. I think they are on good contracts, but at least offer them a contract. It's very sad the way that I'm glad we had the moment at Bromley with the supporters and the fans came together, but to miss out on players that arguably Bush, probably should have been for my opinion my player of the year. For what we brought him out from Chelmsford, he's been incredible. Again with Sam Magri part of that defence, and obviously the way Dean Nance, who's been at 6 years at the club, didn't really get a send off or anything from the club. Just on the retained list, you're not staying, and that was obviously disappointing. Dave Archer then responds to the players contacting the National League about the wages. I think it's about 10 days at this point. He describes it as dirty laundry. Again, using the same excuse of money transfer issues. Again, that is just the word. That is not. There is something underlying going on at the club for why the transfers are late, and it's not the money transfer stuff. Is that if you believe the money transfer stuff, it's just absolute rubbish. There is no money transfer issues. You can transfer money like that. You can see all these Man City owners that can transfer billions in literally minutes, and you don't see any of their players getting paid late. I think you get many corporations that are paying late, and nothing's been done. Maybe there will be some. Arguably, is there going to be a point? Are the league going to act? That's something that potentially could happen. Gary Hill speaks to Steve Turvett, the Kent reporter, and at this point there's 7 players left. I don't think those 3 players they mentioned to be offered deals are going to stay. I think that was just to say that we're going to have 10 players. We're not going to have 10 players. That 7 players that are on contracts are all going to leave by May. So now we're thinking that we literally have to rebuild the entire squad. And I don't care if you have a good budget. If you have to rebuild an entire squad, it's going to be very, very difficult. And obviously, thanks for Gary Hill being very honest, and obviously a good interview with Steve Turvett there. And by the end of May, those 70 contracted players, Edward Adams, and you can see on with the retained list, will all be leaving by May. We'll try and best to get rid of them by May. What happens if those players don't get over the line, don't get those moves, maybe they have to move on a lower contract and they don't want to do that, they want to sit out of their big contract they got here at Ebbsfleet? What happens then? At the time of recording, there's probably been some more sales happen, because at the moment Michael Cheek did sign for Bromley. Again, I was disappointed about this one. Not because of Michael Cheek leaving. Michael Cheek is feel free to leave. I don't mind where any players go, preferably not Maidstone or Dartford. But yeah, I would have maybe liked to see Michael Cheek potentially play in the Football League. I think he's got that quality. He's played some great football he's been very consistent at this level. He's scored loads of goals. He's always got more than double figures, and I think at the age of 26, I think he deserved a chance, or maybe one of the League 2 clubs to give him a chance. But he's obviously signed for Bromley there. They've made a few good early signings at the moment, and I think that they should be up in the playoffs. So Michael Cheek should get a few goals as well. Now we've only got 6 left, and 6 left. Where they're going to go, what's going to happen with them is still unknown at this point. Then there is this point of then some people start to get paid, and this is the weird bit. Some people were paid, some staff members, I think most of the staff, reportedly all the staff members are paid. So the staff members were paid. Some of the players, we never know which ones are paid. Some of the players were paid. because there was about 10 or so at this protest, because at this point it's about 18, 16, 15 days late, and this is awful. So then the players, we'll never know what players are paid at what time and who was paid at this time, and because now it was the point that some people were paid, some weren't paid. So then the players went to the stadium a few days ago at the time of recording, and just tried to get some answers. Why are we not getting paid? Why have some people paid and why have not been paid? At the moment, it's closing in on 3 weeks late. Apparently, they still get paid for May wages, so I don't know what's going to happen with them. I think with the players that have already left, or do they get their money? I don't know. It's a very sticky situation, as I've said. But the underlying factor is that at the moment, by the end of May, if you're watching, by the end of May, we won't have any players from this season playing next season. So Gary Hill has now got to rebuild an entire squad. There is a rumour going around that Gary Hill actually wants to buy the club, because him and his brother are quite wealthy, want to buy the club. If he could, that just anyone please buy the club, because at the moment it's an absolute shambles. Apparently we still have a good budget, but then it's just a shambles. People from the club are saying stuff that does make you feel mildly positive, that we've still got a good budget, but to rebuild an entire squad with 0 players from the existing season, and I presume players are going to be brought in, should be starting to bring in now, but no one's being brought in. With the wages and the reputation Ebbsfleet United have now got for paying late, that's literally all people hear about from Ebbsfleet United. Why would any decent players want to sign for this club? And again, the problem of rebuilding an entire squad, you have to get 16, 18 professionals in literally a month and get them together. It's very difficult. It's not as easy as people maybe think. Like, obviously, if you lose an entire squad in the Premier League, it's much harder. It's much harder to rebuild. But in non-league, it is still very hard. You have to gel those players. This was a good squad. I know they're on too high wages, but again, the way it's been dealt with is just awful. And again, the news that the 6 remaining players are all going to be sold on free transfers. So that is Nathan Ashmore going for a free. Arguably, again, for me, the best goalkeeper in non-league. You're letting him leave for a free. It's stupid. There's a player in there like Crawley Whiteley, Jack King. You can get good money for them. And obviously these players are on high wages, but the way it's been dealt with, the fact there is no transparency, there is no one says anything from the club. It's so silent. There's nothing from the club. There's no communication. We literally know nothing. And now there is going to be the gate's going to be awful next season, because they've lost all trust. There's been nothing from the club to the fans, to the supporters, and we as a non-league club, ticket prices have gone up. We've got similar ticket prices to Charlton, who are in League One, potentially going into the Championship, and we've got similar prices, and we're expected to pay that, and we don't even know what's going on in the club, and then we can't even players that we've enjoyed seeing this season, we can't even see. So yeah, it really is a shambles, and they've lost. What's happened at the club has lost a lot of faith in the club, and I don't doubt people. I still want to go. But the fact that the way this has all been dealt with, I think all the players have been paid at the moment. It's not confirmed yet, but it got to 20 days late, and it's just an absolute shambles. And people expect to pay £400, £300 for a season ticket. It's ridiculous, and it's really disappointing that what people have said, what's happened to the club, and how a lot of people have lost faith in it, and I just worry that this aim to become a self-sufficient football club has just ruined it, because you haven't got the gates to get people in anymore, unfortunately. yeah, I do worry. I would say we are relegation candidates next season. People need to lower their expectations. And I think people who are going to go next season are going to lower their expectations, because it's going to be a much reduced squad. Who are you going to get in at this level? And yeah, you may say, why is he getting rid of the... Maybe you're commenting, why is this happening? The players at the moment are on very high wages. We're trying to reduce that budget. But the way to do that is not just... You got to make money out of a player like Nathan Ashmore. You can get good money for. Make money back that helps put into budget, helps make the club more sustainable. There's just lots of decisions that you just don't make sense. You hear some positive things, but then you actually look into that. Is that really true? And the fact we're still hearing the thing of money transfer issues, and the fact it's taken 20 days to pay players, and we don't even know if that's happened or not. Literally, all we hear about there is no transparency. We don't hear anything from the club. And all we hear about is a little GIF from Nathan Ashmore showing that he hasn't been paid yet. It's very disappointing, and it's just, yeah, this has just been kind of me rambling about what's going on. And yeah, obviously let me know what you think of what's happening in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, hopefully Ebbsfleet is still around next season. I literally do not know what's going to happen, what notification I'm going to get next tomorrow or next week, what's going to go on, what's going to happen in the summer. So yeah, stay tuned for, you want to hear what happens at this club. So yeah, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all later. See you later.
Up the Fleet and subscribe to Nathan Holt.
Up the Fleet.